What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Blader&Co. Today I'm taking a look at BX-24 Random Booster Volume 2. So being a random booster, you have a 1 in 6 chance of pulling the prize bay, which in this case is Wyvern Gale 580 Gear Ball. So much like Random Booster Volume 1, I've gone ahead and purchased a full confirmed set. That way I'm guaranteed to get every single pull, including the first prize and second prize, Wyvern Gale. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the box and then we'll crack into this random booster set. So much like Random Booster Volume 1, box is fairly similar. Obviously you've got your different bay pulls on the front. On the back of the box, same thing, you've got your first prize, second prize, a little bit of info on each of the blades, BeybladeX gimmick, and we've got our Blader on there for the owner of Wyvern Gale. Alright, so while we open up the box, let's have a little chat about the Blader and Wyvern Gale. So Wyvern Gale is owned and used by Cordova in the anime. So we've seen him in the Cordova's test episode where he has to face off against Team Persona in order for them to reach the next level of X Tower, and we also see him in a recent episode where he gives some information to Maiden on an upcoming Blader who we know to be Burned. So seems like they've got a little bit of a possible past friendship, maybe even the old pro teammates. So yeah, we'll have to find out more, I guess, in the coming weeks. So starting with the bit, we get Gear Ball, so a brand new part. So this also comes on the prize Wyvern Gale. So it's really nice. We've got a purple Gear Ball there. Moving on to the ratchet, we've got 480. Again, a really nice purple colorway. And finally, we've got our blade. So we've got Wizard Arrow. So yes, another Wizard Arrow blade. We seem to get one of these nearly every single release, but I have to admit this purple colorway looks really, really good. And especially that white surrounding of the motif looks so good. So yeah, can't really complain. All right, assembling our purple Wizard Arrow. And there we have it. That is our purple Wizard Arrow. Looks really, really good. I really like the colorway of this one. Purple bays always look super cool, so this one is no exception. Alright, let's keep going. So up next we've got a Vipertail 560F. Starting with the bit, we get flat. Seen this one a bunch of times now, but still, always nice to have another flat tip. For our ratchet, we have got 560, so a really nice sort of pearl, light blue and dark blue combination, which looks great. And our blade, we get Vipertail, which looks great. This is a really nice recolor of Vipertail. The scales stand out so much more in this blue colorway. I'd say this is probably my favorite version of Vipertail, even over the original. All right, assembling our Vipertail. And there we have it. So that is our Vipertail 560 flat. I really, really like the look of this one. I think that blue colorway looks fantastic, especially all the details of the snake scale. It really stands out in that blue, so yeah, looks great. Really cool. Next up, we have Nightlands 460 Gear Ball. So again, another Gear Ball. So as I mentioned, Gear Ball, so another brand new part. So we get this in a black. For our ratchet, we get 460, also in black. And finally, for our blade, we have Nightlands. So we get a pretty stealthy looking Nightlands blade with black and a little bit of purple around the motif. Alright, and assembling our Nightlands. there we go. Overall, pretty stealthy looking blade. The purple's sort of pretty subtle around the motif. It's sort of hard to notice, to be honest. It sort of just looks black in most light, but yeah, not a bad release either. Alright, bay number 4, so we are halfway through. So we've got Leon Claw 380 High Needle. High Needle in a just like a flat red colorway. Our ratchet, we get 380, so sort of like the same sort of, I guess, mix of red and sort of pink and purple for the ratchet that we saw with House Chain, so that looks really nice actually. I really like that color. And then we get our Leon Claw blade, so sort of like a mix. It's not quite red, it's not quite orange. I'd say it's almost like a blood orange color. I actually really like it though. I know it seems like a lot of people online, the general discourse around this one is that it's not that nice looking, but I don't know, in person I think it looks really good. Alright, and assembling Leon Claw. So yeah, again, I do think the motif could have been improved on a little bit. I think just the whole lion head and mane is fully red. It would have been nice even if the mane was like a slightly different color just to contrast a little bit more, but yeah, I still really like this one. I think it's a really cool release. I like Leon Claw in general anyway, so I think the blade looks great regardless. Alright, so we are up to bay number 5. So for number 5, we have second prize, which is Wyvern Gale 360T. We've got T, so we get taper in that sort of lemony yellow color, which doesn't look too bad. Our ratchet, we get 360. So this is in that orange and yellow, which looks pretty similar to the second prize Shark Edge from Volume 1. So that's kind of interesting how both, I guess, second prize bays have been both a yellow and orange, I guess, colorway. I don't know if that's a coincidence, but yeah. And for our blade, we get the brand new Wyvern Gale. Obviously in this case, so it is yellow, not the prize green. Alright, let's go ahead and assemble this one. And that is our second prize Wyvern Gale, fully assembled. Not a huge fan of the colorway on this one, to be honest. I really do like the blade design, especially the metal portion. I think that looks really cool. Looks super aerodynamic and intricate, and yeah, looks pretty nice. Alright, well, that only leaves us with prize bay number 1, so last but not least, we have Wyvern Gale 580 Gear Ball. So let's start with the bit. So again, we get Gear Ball. This is actually our third one now for the whole set, which is pretty cool. So Gear Ball in yellow. Our ratchet, we get 580 in green and clear, which looks pretty good. And our blade, we have Wyvern Gale. So this is in the, stock colorway and combo. So we get that green Wyvern Gale blade. All right, and putting together prize bay Wyvern Gale. There we go, fully assembled. So we get that pretty cool looking blade, if I'm honest. Like I said, I really like the design of the metal portion of the blade. It looks super nice. Not a huge fan of the colorway of this one, to be honest. Even prize bay number 2 Wyvern Gale, not huge on the colorway, but yeah, not a bad looking bay. Pretty nice, I guess. So another cool thing to note is you can essentially build yourself a second stock combo Wyvern Gale if you use the ratchet from Vipertail and then the bit from either Wizard Arrow or Nightlands. You can essentially build yourself a second one, albeit just not in the stock colorway. Alright, moving on, let's do a couple of spin tests. So up first, we've got Leon Claw. So obviously high needle, so it's not going to be super aggressive. It'll sort of move around the stadium a little bit and then center itself. Next up, Wizard Arrow. So Wizard Arrow's on gear ball there, so quite a bit of movement with this one. I suppose if you launch hard enough, you should be able to hit that extreme line and maybe do a couple of extreme dashes. Then we've got our Viper Tail, so obviously flat bottom is going to be super aggressive, hit that extreme line heaps, so yeah, pretty standard. Then we've got Nightlands, also on gearball, so same thing, depending how hard you launch, you may be able to get it to circle the stadium and maybe even hit the extreme line. We've got our Wyvern Gale number 2, so with taper, so obviously sort of similar to F. It's going to be quite aggressive, probably not as aggressive as F, but yeah, it'll hit the extreme line a bunch as well. And then finally we've got Prize Bay Wyvern Gale. So same thing, it'll move around the stadium a fair bit and then yeah, sort of center itself and become quite stable. Alright, onto some size comparisons. So up first we've got Wyvern Gale next to Drawn Dagger. Just taking a look at the side of Wyvern Gale, it's pretty gappy, like the way the metal wheel is designed, it leaves a lot of contact for other blades to hit the ratchet, and yeah, it seems a lot more gappy than a lot of other blades. Then we've got Hell's Chain. So as I mentioned, even looking at Hell's Chain I guess is also sort of quite gappy, but not quite as much as Wyvern Gale, where it seems like there's, you know, some quite high gaps in the middle wheel, which really are going to leave it vulnerable to potentially quite a lot of bursts. And then finally we've got it next to Rhino Horn. So you can just see the difference here in terms of the metal portion design, where something like Rhino Horn's quite chunky and thick, and then, you know, Wyvern Gale quite a lot sleeker and slimmer, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these ones perform. Alright, so final thoughts on Random Booster Volume 2. To be perfectly honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Volume 2. Probably 3 out of the 6 blades I really like. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 that I don't really like all that much are actually the Wyvern Gale blades. While I think the metal portion looks great, I'm not a big fan of the colorway for either of them. Even the motif is not really my favorite. Yeah, the Nightlands isn't a bad blade either. I just think it looks a bit plain, being, you know, predominantly black. But then on the bright side, I really like that Viper Tail, the Wizard Arrow, and even the Leon Claw. So I don't know, if you're a completionist, you might want to just go ahead and pick up the full set anyway. Or if you're just trying to collect all the main releases, maybe just try to source the prize Wyvern Gale blade. For someone like me who's a little bit of a completionist, I just find it a little bit easier to source the full set. At least that way, you know, I'm guaranteed every single blade from the set. I also think that sometimes it can be a little bit, not cheaper, but more cost effective to just try to buy a full set rather than just the prize bay. Sometimes, you know, for say an extra $20 or $30, you get an extra 5 bays for the price of what you'd pay for, you know, nearly just the first prize bay. So in this case, I think for a cost standpoint, it was worth it for me to get the full set. But yeah, look, you guys might like the full set more than me, and you know, it's always nice, I guess, to have some extra parts and recolors laying around. You never know. Some of these parts could be competitive. Yeah. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for today's video. So if you enjoyed this one, why not leave a like, comment down below, let me know, are you guys going to be picking up the full set or just try your luck at picking up the Wyvern Gale blade? So until next time, like, subscribe, take care, I'll speak to you guys in the next one.